Good morning and welcome to the Adult Education and Workforce Development Statewide webinar for July 10th. I am Jerry Hafner, and with me this morning is the Adult Education team. Let's begin this morning with some more stories. Let's begin with Lawrence Dean, who faced incredible struggles in his life but beat the odds. The number of homeless young adults who come through the doors of Marian University's Project Build and Adult Education is much higher than most would assume. I wanted to further my education and complete my HSE, Lawrence said, but I was homeless 2 years ago, and that was an incredible struggle for me. I also struggle with depression, which I deal with on a regular basis. I was depressed, uneducated, and homeless. This made everything so much more difficult. Lawrence is a young person who felt lost and trapped on our Indianapolis streets. His life was going nowhere, and having nothing, Lawrence decided to make a change. I decided to do something about my situation, and I went to register with Marian University. The comfort and guidance that the teachers gave me allowed me to finish the program in just 2.5 months. I think that's pretty amazing for me. You really don't find places like this where teachers sit down and really care about you. Coming from Iowa and going to schools there and in Indianapolis, it seemed like they didn't care. Here, the teachers care about me. They helped me beyond the feeling of self-doubt that I had. I now work for a landscaping company and have been there about 9 months. I want to go into the cable installation field and already am searching for career positions. I have also achieved the cable installation and forklift certifications, which will help me ensure that my next move will be my career move. The program helped me become more confident, and now I can go out and get the job that I want. What a wonderful story. Thank you, Marian University Adult Education, for sharing Lawrence's story. I think you're going to love this next story. Let's go up north to South Bend. A few years ago, Nathan Shook of South Bend was in the JAG program. Unfortunately, he dropped out to take online classes, but he never earned his high school diploma. Oddly enough, a Robin Williams movie entitled Good Will Hunting changed his life. I was looking at this guy who knew countless amounts of information, but wasn't going anywhere in life, Nathan said. That same day, Nathan called his former JAG teacher, who connected him to Work One. He started HSE classes in January with the South Bend Adult Education Program and passed the task test in just 4 weeks. I am one to set unachievable goals for myself, Nathan said. I didn't want to disappoint myself, so I didn't plan on finishing any of this early. At the end of the day, I knew I needed to get this done for myself. In February, Nathan joined a QuickBooks class. He already knew some of the accounting content, so he asked if he could fast-track the 12-week class. He successfully completed the class in just 4 weeks. At this point, Nathan started thinking about a career. When he was in JAG, his teacher encouraged him to find a job using his speaking skills and his love of helping people. He chose real estate because he liked creating business plans. His career coach at South Bend, Deb Lane, arranged a meeting at a local realty company for him to learn more. It was there that he asked the owner if he could volunteer as an intern, and she agreed. I didn't know what to expect, Nathan said, of the first day of his internship. The only interns I've ever seen were on TV shows, and I'm pretty sure that's not an accurate representation. Best yet, he loved it. Even better, the owner sat down and told him that if he completed the internship and he agreed to work for her company afterward, she would cover his costs for real estate school. You can bet Nathan was thrilled. His second day at the company, Nathan helped launch a social media advertising campaign, and he's helping the staff figure out how to tap into the younger generation's social media presence. I never ever would have predicted that I would love it as much as I do, Nathan said. The internship is my favorite place to go every day. I get bored easily, but real estate is different every day. We are going different places. You talk to different people. You can't sell the same way twice. What an incredible story. Let's go over to the Impact Institute in Region 3, and here's a story about Vic Ward. He always had good intentions to get his HSC, but he could never follow through. I had a lot of bumps in the road, he said. I felt like a doormat to employers, being unfairly compared to old bosses and supervisors when wanting to move up in the company. I put roughly 4 years into the wheel business. I had no HSC. I was in a rut doing the same thing every day. I went back to Impact Institute where I'd been attending previously with hopes to start over. I had attempted to get my HSE multiple times, but was never able to finish classes. Despite this being my third time, I felt like this was my time to shine. I was a little nervous at first because of the new surroundings, but I knew everything was all right. I was tired of not advancing, and this was my shot to do so. We all have moments where we just want to relax after we get off work, but I knew this needed to be done. I used disapproval of my job to fuel me in working on my HSC. I hated the work I was doing. I was ready to move on from this stage in my life. This time, with the help of my terrific teachers in Huntington, I succeeded in getting my high school equivalency. I'm very thankful for their help. They believed in me even when I was hard on myself. As of today, I am attending Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne for HVAC. After graduating, I was first employed by a company that helped me learn MIG welding, which is a valuable trade. Since then, I've begun working in the wheel business again while working toward my degree at Ivy Tech in HVAC. I'm going to make it happen, not only for me, but for my family. All the best, Vic. Thank you so much, Impact, for sharing that story. And finally, this morning, I want to go down south to Swit City and Linton, Indiana, to Turning Point. Marilyn, Nancy, Rob Moore, and I had the honor of attending Turning Point Education Center's graduation in Linton about 2 weeks ago. There was a crowd there. There were more than 600 family and friends in attendance to help graduates, which was the largest class in Turning Point's history, turn the tassels. You can see there in the center at age 67, the oldest graduate that evening, Marcy House, who shared her story with her family and friends at the graduation. Also at the graduation was the commencement speaker, U.S. Senator Todd Young. He told graduates that I want every single Hoosier to be able to play his or her part in the success of our communities. Successful programs like TPEC give Hoosiers the chance to do their part and become productive members of society. I want to celebrate each and every one of these graduates tonight, he said. TPEC is really accomplishing greatness here. What they do for people is a true expression of love. The youngest graduate that evening was age 17. Marcy House, the commencement student speaker, is 67. She told the audience, "It doesn't matter. You're never too old to invest in yourself." Now, that may be an odd picture to have on your computer screens, but in the audience that evening, when I mentioned family and friends, was man's best friend. Rob Moore took a picture of this puppy who appears to be hanging on to every word of encouragement that I am giving to graduates.
Just like we all do, Jerry.
Yes, and at second glance, perhaps he looks just a little bored.
Just like we all do,
Jerry. Thank you. Let's move on to who we believe is the oldest graduate, at least this year. Marcy was not the youngest HSC graduate in Indiana, believe it or not, this past year. Meet Jesse Stevenson, who dropped out of school at age 16. He was drafted into the Army in 1952 and is a Korean War veteran. Mr. Stevenson married in 1957, and he and his wife have 4 children. He spent his work years at Westinghouse in Muncie. Today, he proudly serves as a member of the Jay County Honor Guard. He returned to school at the John Jay Center for Learning in Portland and earned his HSE in May. I didn't say this, but Jesse is 87 years old. He joked, "When I went to school, the math I was working on was not even invented." His teacher at John Jay said, "Jesse is a special person to me and to all that know him at John Jay Center for Learning. What Jesse has done is a true success story. He has worked hard, and he is now a proud graduate of our HSC program." Melinda asked the Diploma Center to go through Indiana's records to see if Jesse was the oldest Indiana high school equivalency graduate. Unfortunately, Diploma Center is not sure because conflicting records may have some wrong birth years. But Jesse is likely the number 1 or number 2 oldest graduate that we have ever had. While we may never know for sure, we know one thing. Jesse proves that success can come at any age. Great stories this morning, and thank you for inviting us to all the graduations across the state of Indiana. We enjoy those. We enjoy hearing the graduates and the opportunity afterwards to meet many of the students that you worked with. So again, thank you for sharing. Let's now turn to Youth Initiative updates, and with us this morning is Chris Fitzgerald. Chris?
Good morning, Adult Education Indiana. I hope wherever you are, your AC is working properly. I can tell you from lovely downtown Indianapolis right now, it is a heat wave. It is awful. It is terrible. Please send help. Okay. That being said, yeah. Okay, that being said, if you look on your screen, you see a wonderful picture of our JAG team, the 5 of 5. It was a tremendous accomplishment we reached this year. And the 5 of 5 is a set of 5 metrics that we, try to hit. Our 5 main metrics we try to hit every year. A grad rate of 90%, job placement 60%, positive outcomes 80%, full-time placements 80%, and full-time jobs 60%. And we have done it now for the 5th straight year. We have about 135 programs, and of them, 77 were 5 of 5 sites. 17 more were 5 of 5 sites than last year, I should say. 108 sites had a unable to contact rate at or below 5%. 107 sites that met or exceeded the grad target. We had a statewide graduation rate of 96%, which is another all-time high for us, and a statewide unable to contact rate of 2%. So we're hitting 98% of those students, and those other 2% of students we're hoping were like Nathan, who you heard about earlier, who is just another success story. We had 2 alternative ed 5 of 5 regions, and we also had 12 multi-year 5 of 5 regions. So it's been a very big year for our program, and all those numbers are just to say how good some of our youth workers are doing out there in the field. Now, on the right side, you see our Commissioner, Fred Payne. This picture was from 2 weeks ago, and he addressed our JAG team. We had all of our JAG folks come in from around the state for our annual state training. And the reason I wanted to bring this to you was the theme of our training this year. The theme was Ignite Your Why. This job that we do, as we all know, it's not for the fame, not for the glory, certainly not for the money. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I need to address some of these people in this room, but mostly it's for the people that we serve. And Ignite Your Why is just kind of a call to all of our folks out there, and maybe for you guys today to think about, why we do what we do and how we can try to avoid some of that burnout that sort of creeps into the things that we do throughout the year. So whatever your why is, think about that today, hold it up, celebrate it. Think of stories like Nathan, who was an excellent story about how all of our programs can work together. I was particularly intrigued that he dropped out. And, at that point, you think we lose them. But they're not really lost. They're just waiting to be found. And I thought he did an excellent job. So how about them apples? Good Will Hunting, the reference. Okay. So that's all I had for you today, and I will turn the big chair back to Jerry.
Thank you, Chris. And the stories indeed are incredible. Some reminders this morning. As a reminder, task testing and adult education instruction operate separately and cannot overlap. No staff member supporting the exam can be involved in any related adult education class, and this comes from the Task Test Administrator's Manual, pages 21 and also on page 101. Also, adult education dollars cannot be used to support the HSE program, and particularly testing, or be used to pay for the task test. So we wanted just to remind you of that and where those 2 references are in the task test manual. Well, I want to turn to Bryn this morning. He's going to talk about Work Indiana and the transition to the Work Indiana Ready grant.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining the call. So last Tuesday, preliminary information was sent to all programs about the Work Indiana transition to the Workforce Ready grant. A one-time $700,000 allocation of funds was granted by the Governor's Workforce Cabinet to assist in the transition from Work Indiana to the Workforce Ready grant. Funds are for Work One clients enrolled in adult education and participating in a CDL or a CNA program. IET funding must be used first for CNA prior to using any Workforce Ready grant funding. The process is similar to the Work Indiana grants with specific allocations to each region. Grants are effective for a period of up to 1 year, and more information will follow soon, so be on the lookout for that. And with that, I will turn it back to Jerry.
Thank you. Jose is here this morning, and he's going to give some announcements specifically about local career coaching grant.
Good morning, everyone. The Governor's Workforce Cabinet recently announced the release of the Local Career Coaching Grant FAQ. The FAQ can be accessed at the website on your screen. Additionally, additional information, including requirements to complete a grant application, may also be found on the same webpage. A webinar is scheduled for July 12, 2019 to provide additional information and answer questions you may have. Contact Nathan Storm for details. You also see his email on the screen. Local career coaching grants will bring together a wide range group at the local level to design a career coaching system from kindergarten to adults. Now, with the passage of the graduation pathways, students are now able to individualize their graduation requirements to align their post-secondary goal. Students in the graduating class of 2023 must satisfy at least one option from each of the categories in order to graduate. The first one you see on the right. The second category is employability skills, which is on your left of the screen, and the third area is post-secondary ready competencies. A lot of information about graduation pathways can be accessed at the DOE website on your screen. You all are encouraged to view these new requirements they have. Finally, Congress mandated a national study that will help describe how providers are implementing adult education and what challenges they have experienced. The study will be conducted by the American Institute for Research, AIR, on behalf of the Federal Institute of Education Sciences. Local adult education providers in the 50 states and Washington, D.C. will be surveyed. AIR will reach out to providers in September and October with more information, so be looking out. The survey will be sent in mid-October, and results will be published in 2022. And now I will give it back over to Jerry. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jose. A lot of good, quick information, and I do encourage you to go to the DOE website and look over the graduation pathways requirements. There is a lot of information there for you to review, and we just wanted to make you aware that it is available on the Department of Education website. Well, you saw the puppy dog. This is probably the time whereby everyone's eyes will glaze over with all the data that we're going to give to you. But as you are aware, program year 2018-2019 ended on June 30th, and we wanted to share some preliminary data with you about all the success that we have had and that you have had this year. We have a lot of good numbers. Obviously, this data is not final. We'll bring you the final data in the coming weeks and in the coming months, share when all the states report their information to the U.S. Department of Education where Indiana stacks out in terms of performance. But let's begin with NRS Table 4. When I ran Table 4 on Monday, the statewide measurable skill gain was 66.12. I ran again this morning the Table 4, and we are at now 66.26. Enrollment is down by nearly 1,800 students. This was a 7% decrease from a year ago. However, ELL enrollment was down only by 17 students from a year ago. Our measurable skill gains as a state have increased by about 3 percentage points from program year 2017-2018. And as we always remind you on this slide, remember in 2017-2018, we counted MSGs based on pre- and post-testing only from the focus subject area. Currently, with this past year and with this new year that we started, if MSG is achieved through pre- and post-testing, it can be in any area, not just the focus subject area. Our state MSG goal for 2018-2019 was 64%. Let's just stop for a second. Let's just take a minute and look at the percentage from Monday's interest report. 66.12%. In the far right-hand column in the yellow gold box, I have today's 66.26%. As a state, we have never been higher, never, and this is a big, big congratulations for us as a state and for what you have done as local programs. Thank you so much. This isn't the final number. We expect this percentage perhaps to go up slightly, but I believe Indiana will certainly be a contender for the number one spot nationally when the final figures come out in a few months. We'll have to wait and see, but we have to be a contender again this year for the number one spot. So this is just wonderful news, and we can't thank you enough for everything that you have done for our students. To dive a little bit more deeper into last year's data, 2018-2019, ELL measurable skill gains were up by more than 3 percentage points from a year ago. Similarly, ABE MSGs are also up. We're up by 3 percentage points from a year ago. So again, we have increased across the board with measurable skill gains. And again, for all of us, all the programs out there have just done an outstanding job. Jennifer is with us this morning, and she will now cover some other areas related to our performance. Jennifer?
Thank you, Jerry. Good morning. While ABE enrollment is down, average contact hours is 79, virtually no change from the previous program year. The number separated before gain is actually down by nearly 3.5 percentage points from a year ago, which continues to be good news. Last year, more than 6,700 students had separated. This year, we are at 5,441 students. It will be interesting to see if these numbers and percentages hold up when the program year is closed out. This slide breaks down the number separated before gain by program. ELL is at 27%. Enters showed 4,455 HSEs on Monday. Indiana is down 132 from last year. Though we made up a lot of ground in the number of HSEs earned since last month's statewide webinar, we won't have the final figures nationally for several months. Indiana will likely be in the top 5 again, followed by California and Florida.
And what I've done here, Jennifer and everyone, I'm showing you Monday's figures. I, again, ran the report this morning, and we showed 4,455 HSEs according to enters. And instead of being down 200 HSEs from this time a year ago, we are down, as of today, 132. So we're doing a good job in knocking off and getting that number dwindled down to where we were a year ago. So,
thank you, Jerry. When walk-ins are included in the totals, these are individuals who did not study at an adult education location. Nearly 5,300 diplomas have been awarded so far this year. This number is down by 181 students from program year 2017-18. On the right is the percentage of test takers passing each subtest. Not surprising, math continues to be the subject with the lowest passing score. On the right is the percentage of test takers passing all 5 subtests. It appears that the percentage will be higher for 2018-19. On the right shows the percentage increase from a year ago. The pass rate increased nearly 2.25 percent points from 2017-18. Perhaps the more rigorous TABE 11-12 in part contributed to this increased pass rate. The majority of ABE students were still falling in level 3. The next highest number was level 2. Only 774 students or 4% were enrolled in ABE levels 5 and 6 as of Monday. Nearly 1/4 of the students entered adult education in ABE levels 5-6 in 2017-18. The majority of HSEs were earned by students initially enrolled in levels 3 and 4. As we continue to emphasize, students may be ready at lower educational functioning levels to sit for the HSE. It is always a good idea, regardless of level, to administer the task readiness assessment to see if a student is ready. For students who utilize distance education, measurable skill gains continue to rise in 2018-19. The state's measurable skill gain for distance education was 70% as of Monday. However, only 1/4 of the students use distance education to help them move more quickly academically. Of the nearly 25,000 students enrolled in 2018-19, more than 9,700 or 37% initially entered programs as unemployed. 40% of the students indicated they were employed when they entered. The majority of students not in the labor force were in correctional programs. More than 1/3 of our students entered with a diploma during the program year 2018-19. In program year 2017-18, 29% of students possessed a high school credential or higher. During the program year that just ended June 30th, 13% had attended some college or earned a degree. Let's turn to median earnings. Numbers are still coming in, but earnings are up nearly $680 quarterly or $2,700 annually for students the second quarter after exit. By age, the lowest median wage earners the second quarter after exit are the 16 to 18-year-olds. The highest median wage earners who make the majority of our enrollment statewide are 25 to 44-year-olds. This is the breakdown of median earnings the second quarter after exit by ethnicity and race. Meanwhile, nearly 4 in 10 Hoosiers in 2018-19 initially reported themselves as low income. 3% of enrollments were learners who were long-term unemployed, which is defined as greater than 26 weeks. 12% of our students were single parents. There are only 4 weeks left to close out program year 2018-19. Make sure you clean up the data and enters, which Matt and Bren will discuss in a few minutes. Pay close attention to the common data errors on your screen, including invalid age, no application date, missing pretest, and no entry level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. She went through a lot of information, so I would encourage you when we send these slides out or go to our website when we post these in a few days and particularly look at the median earnings. That's some very powerful information that with education, with employment, wages are going up for our learners, for our students, and that is a powerful tool, particularly to indicate, to demonstrate the value and part of adult education. Let's move on to professional development. Dan is here representing the professional development team, and he's going to talk about some PDF meetings that will be coming up in the coming year. Dan?
Good morning. As you can see on the slide here, we're going to be having our 3 PDF meetings this year. They have been set up, and there will be an invite coming out tomorrow. We held off on sending it out to make sure everyone was back from vacation, but I'm sure there's still a few that are still, enjoying their summer break. As you can see here, our first meeting will be August 9th. It will be at the Ivy Tech in Lawrence, which is on the northeast side of Indianapolis off of 465. In December, we'll meet December 6th at the Shepherd Community Center on East Washington. We've been there before. And the final one will be February 21st, again at the Ivy Tech at the Lawrence campus. This year, we're going to be doing things a little differently. We're going to be having separate PDF and director meetings. And as you can see on the slide, the director meetings are to be determined once we're going to be sending out a self-assessment to our directors so that we can fine-tune the topics that will be of discussion. And once we get that survey back, we will put together probably at least 3 director meetings throughout the year, and we'll let you know when and where they're going to be. I need to get my glasses here. Jerry actually wrote me a script. Okay. As you can see on the slide, that's about to come up. There you go. Okay, there will be a free citizenship education teacher training in Louisville on July the 17th. This training, offered by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, Office of Citizenship will take place at the Louisville Free Public Library. This seminar is for ELL, civics, and citizenship administrators, teachers, volunteers of adults, and representatives from immigrant serving organizations. Participants will have the opportunity to speak with local USCIS representatives, network with their peers, and receive free educational services. Register online at the web address on this screen, and the deadline is actually today. This information was sent out actually a couple of weeks ago. So just a reminder to please get registered. The topics during this event will include the naturalization process, the naturalization test, program structure, the comprehensive citizenship education standards and curriculum, managing multi-level classrooms, instructional strategies, how to find relevant resources will also be covered, and attendance of this training will count towards the state's professional development requirements.
Thank you very much, Dan. A lot of good information about upcoming meetings. Donna is here, and she is going to go over some grant information about this year's coming grant. Donna?
Faster, pedal faster.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us, too. And we have grant information to talk about. You have probably been itching to get your contracts. Hopefully those are going to be out to you for signatures. Again, they're going to go to the person who is considered your grant, your contract contact that you put on the RFA. And so if anything has changed, let me know right away so I can let the finance team know about that. If you have any grant questions, you can feel free to let Scott or myself know about that. Not guaranteeing any answers, but at least we'll hear your questions and try to work on them together. As a fiscal reminder, let Cheryl Jones know if you have any reason that your last reimbursement for this past year will be later than August 30th. We need that to be in by then so that we can get the information for reports that are due shortly after that deadline. We will work with you if there is a reason that you can't get it in at that time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. Roy is here this morning, and he's going to give us some updates about some exciting workforce projects throughout the state of Indiana. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning. Thank you, Jerry. I just want to let everybody know that if you have a WEI that was approved last year, you need to send me an email with your application materials, including the interest spreadsheet to me so that we can make sure that course is activated for this fiscal year. If I haven't visited you already, I will be coming out within the next few months, and keep up the good work. Jerry? Sorry.
Thank you, Roy. Let's move over to some other information regarding IETs, Work Indiana, and WEI. Brent is here to do that report. Brent?
All right, thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. As you all have known, Shruti has assumed a new position within DWD, so that means I'll be taking over her job duties as of now, and I'll be approving the IETs and the WEIs going forward. So first slide that we have up is the IET data. As you can see, the 11 IELCE certifications and 216 IET certifications with 4 pending applications. INT enrollment is 3,033, which is a 58% goal. IELCE is at 93, which is 16%. Still enrolled is at 705. Dropped is at 374, which is 16.07%. Completions are at 1954, 83.93%. And certifications are at 1450, which is 74.21%. All right, speaking a little bit on the IET application process. So it's going to change a little bit for this new year. And as you can see, we have the steps. There's going to be 4 steps in this process. It's going to be very simple and very easy. So the first step is the grantees will submit the application along with the spreadsheets at the same time to your AECs, to your adult ed coordinators. When you do that, and during that process, you should also have your course already in enters the new school year, okay? Step 2, once your AECs receive that application, they will review it and check in enters to ensure that the course is entered and entered correctly, okay? So whatever your course name is in enters, all you have to do is copy and paste that course name into your application. I've seen many applications already since I've started that the names do not match. Whatever you have on your application does not match in enters. That will be sent back so you can correct it. Just copy and paste. Pretty simple. If the AECs review it and they don't see your courses in enters, they're going to send it right back to you. For me to mark anything, you have to have your course already in enters for us to mark it. Okay. Once they assume that everything looks good, they will forward that application and the spreadsheet to me. At that time, I will mark the course as IEP and enters. Once that's done, I will email the grantee and also the AEC your application number and let you know that the approval process is complete. Also, if you've submitted your application and you don't see it as marked yet, please do not use BOMGAR to remote in to try to get us to go ahead and mark that for you. If you have any questions about IETs and about their being marked, go through your AECs and they'll let us know. Okay? All right. So next slide is talking about the WEI, Workforce Education Initiative. 81 WEI certifications with 2 pending applications. WEI monthly data report, statewide enrollments. WEI enrollments, 1,166, 19% of the goal. Still enrolled, 933, dropped 45, completed 180, 188, certification 151. On the right, you'll see a success story from Vigo County School Corporation, and this is from Tina Hines. Passing the HSE is just a milestone. My ultimate goal is to become an industrial electrician. I've had some family tell me not to do this and just get a job, so I want to prove them that I can be successful, and I'm sure she will. Right. Next slide is the Work Indiana updates. The Work Indiana monthly report data was pulled on July 1st. Listed on the slide is a snapshot of that data. Completion and certification rates are currently looking great. We have almost reached the goal for enrollment as we now sit at 1,768 enrollments. Continue to work hard and keep up the great work that you all do. It is much appreciated on our side. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out, either email or call, and we'll get right back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brent. Matt is here this morning, and he will give you some information about enters and particularly the closeout process. Matt?
I've got lots of information today. You're going to get bored with me. You're going to be the puppy dog here in a minute. All right, the first thing I'm going to go over is the VU online instructions. So when we first started the online grant with VU, we asked you to do something a certain way, and that was that VU was going to enroll them, track the hours, you put your student as your local student into the system and put the hours in as well. There's going to be an issue with that. You can't track the hours at your end that VU is already putting in that will duplicate the hours, so they will be testing too early. They won't have the amount of instruction that's needed. So what you need to do, partner with VU. VU will do all of the intake for their students in their online course. They will track all of the hours. You can enroll them into a blank course if you want to rename it that, or into any of your normal adult ed courses. Don't do any attendance. Just do all of the testing at the local level when they hit their 40 hours of distance learning. That way, nothing is going to get messed up on their attendance hours. We were assured that even though the hours are occurring at VU in their online course, it will count for your student. So we'll have to make sure that that's done. If you have an online student that you did enter those hours in for at your own local program, you're going to need to remove them. Okay? So if you have any questions on that, remote in to Brent or I, and we can help you get that straightened out for your online courses that you partner with BU on. So I'll give you a second to take some notes on that. All right, the next thing. This is for closeout first. There are still several programs who missed the deadline of June 30th for Table 7. All right? Those emails have been sent to, those emails were sent to the AECs, and they've contacted you. If you've been on break or whatever, you need to get your Table 7s done. The deadline for that was June 30th. We're now past that date. If you have questions on how to fill it out or you don't remember, here are the steps. You go to your AE locations, you right-click on your ABE program, not your fiscal agent, on your ABE program. You click the NRS manual button at the top, change the term to 1819, not leave it at 1920, change it to 1819, fill in your administrative personnel at the local level, not state level, all of your paraprofessionals, counselors, and teachers, full-time or part-time. The next section below that is years of experience, and that is for teachers' years of experience only, not your paraprofessionals, not your admin, not your local counselors. If you have 10 teachers, the number that will be in those three categories for years of instructional years will be 10, right? So if you've gotten a message from your AEC that says your years and stuff don't add up, it's because you've added the years of experience for your paraprofessionals or your counselors. So go ahead and check that and fix that. And then once you're done, click the Save Table button in the upper right-hand corner. Don't just close it. This is the only screen on Inters where you actually have to save something. All right, so I'll give you a minute on that. Next one. NRS errors that are still out there that need to be corrected by August 10th. Age errors. There are actually in the system right now, there are 104 errors today that can be corrected by you as the data entry users. That is age par sig. That is no focus subject. That is that you haven't set a focus subject, you haven't mark that you have the age override for the individual because they're 16 or 17. You've got no application dates on enrollments where they have an enrollment in your program. I can't fix those because I don't know when they came to your program and I can't make up an application date. So you need to look at your data and make sure you get those errors fixed by August 10th. If you do not have them fixed by August 10th, they will not be fixed, and the students may or may not count for you. If they have a gain, if they have an HSE, if they're actually enrolled, even with these errors, they will not count for you. So it's imperative that you get these errors cleaned up by August 10th. So that's all of the stuff for the closeout. Now, we've had a whole bunch of questions for the new year. I'm going to go over the rollover process and starting the new year really briefly. If you're going to roll your students to the new term, it's really simple, and I suggest everyone do this. If you're going to have the same classes and your students are already there and you want to look at these students are going to be into the new term and whether they show up or not, you still have time to be able to remove them if they don't show up. So you go to your courses in 1819, you right-click on the course, you select Roll Students to the New Term, you select the new term, you select the last date of attendance. So if you want to go back to June 1st, May 15th, you set that date, and any student that has attendance between that date and the day that you do the rollover will be brought forward to the new year. It's that simple. So if you have 20 students that have attendance from June 1st to today, all 20 of those students will be brought over into the new term. Once that's done, You can select your filter to 1920, go into your courses, change the name or the enters code for the new year, and then you have to manually go into every single one of those students and do all of the demographics over again. That is a federal requirement. They do not carry over. Do not mark the box that says carry over demographics. It won't do anything. Just leave it blank. So right-click, select on your course, right-click, roll students to a new term, select the term, and click OK after you put the date in of your date. Nothing else. That's all you have to do. Then you have to update all of those students. The application date, if they do not have an exit, will be the original application date that they started your program. I'm sure we'll have questions on that. If you have problems or questions, Brent or I will be available to help you with that. It's really, really easy, and I suggest you do it that way so that you're not manually enrolling a student into brand new courses that you've created that's the same course that you had last year. With that, that's all I have for today.
Wow, a lot of information, Matt. Thank you very much. We're ready now for the IAACE report, and on the line is Jen, the Executive Director for IAACE. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Jerry, and all of the adult ed world. I hope you all are doing well and ready to have a fabulous day. Welcome to returning board members, Natalie and Rob. They are returning for a second term. And then Laura Pastor is joining the board for her 2-year term. Ted Pearson takes over as the president, Laura Smart as president-elect, and we elected Lisa Crew as treasurer last month, and you elected Sheila Butler as your secretary for the next coming year. Next up, the blog last Wednesday, I sent out a notification about a chat that we are going to have tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, and 9 o'clock Central Daylight Time, a committee chat. I am going to talk about the committees, tell you what each of the committees' objectives are, and answer any and all questions. The main objective of this call is to get you involved and get you on committees. We need so much help in order to do all of our goals and objectives for the year, and we know that you want to be involved in it. So hope to see you tomorrow on the committee chat. Then next up, the reminder, the employer engagement resources. I sent out another reminder in the newsletter last month. We rolled this out at the conference, but if you upload IET or WEI resources that you utilize, you can possibly win $100 for the best contribution. So get to loading. They are due by tomorrow, and we will be selecting the winner in the board meeting on Friday. And then last but not least, there is so much going on in the adult education world, and we just wanted to make sure that you are aware of it. The GED annual conference is this month, July 24th through the 26th in Chicago. The Correctional Education Association International Conference and Training event is July 20th through the 31st in Detroit. The Minds That Move Us Adults Career Pathway Festival is August 6th through 8th in Miami. Who doesn't want to go to Miami? The Pro Literacy Conference is in San Diego and September 25th through 28th, and one of our local agencies, the Literacy Center, received an award that they will be honored there, so that will be certainly worth seeing. A reminder about the AEFL Family Literacy Week, September 22nd through the 28th, and the AAACE conference in October. And just a reminder that if you are interested in going to that conference, because we are members, let me know and you can possibly get another discount. So today's a good day to have a good day. Go have it. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Jen, very much. It's hard to believe that once in April after the conference was over that the conference planning actually begins the day after. So a lot of work to get ready for next year's conference, and we'll be continue working on that on Friday. So thank you very much, Jen, for the report.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. We've thrown a lot of information out at you this morning. We've gone through a number of slides. We will get these posted very quickly to our website. I know there are a lot of individuals out there who are on vacation the month of July, so we want to make sure that you do get these slides and have the opportunity to look at the information and to look at the data that we have provided you. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. We had one or two questions which we will connect individually with the folks who've asked those questions that have come through this morning. We'll connect through email, but we'll answer those privately. Our next statewide webinar will be next month on August 14th at 10 a.m. As Jen said, and as we will say, have a great day and have a great afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.